Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. At the end of Andor episode 7, Cassian was falsely sentenced to 6 years in prison. It was going to be 6 months, but as we saw, Yularen demanded that all prison sentences be tightened. But even though Cassian's been sentenced, we know timeline-wise that he's going to escape pretty soon, and we even see some of that in the trailers. Episodes 8, 9 and 10 are expected to be the prison episodes, and the question of who Cassian's going to meet while in prison is one that many fans have had since episode 7 aired, and that if Cassian is going to escape, he's going to have to be very careful and sneaky, as inmates are not allowed to speak to each other. But a few other fan theories have emerged, including some that try to explain how Andor's imprisonment might connect to the wider Star Wars universe, and a suggestion that came up in yesterday's comment section could link Cassian to the Bridger family from Star Wars Rebels. According to that theory, Andor's imprisonment could overlap with that of Ezra's parents. Get comfy, I'm about to explain how the two paths might cross. Ephraim and Ezra Bridger were a couple in love in the years before the Republic fell. The two then had a son, Ezra, who, as we know, was born on the day the Galactic Empire was founded. And just to say, Empire Day from Season 1 remains to this day one of my favourite Star Wars Rebels episodes ever. People often say that Rebels picks up after Season 2, but there are definitely some gems like this one early on in the series. But back to the video. After the Empire took control of their homeworld of Lothal, Ephraim and Ezra became revolutionaries 1 year after Order 66 in 18 BBY. They began sending out underground broadcasts that spoke out against the Empire's activities, and they were supported by Lothal's governor, Ryder Azadi. These transmissions eventually reached Milo and Lena Graf, who made their way to Lothal on their ship the Whisperbird. Ephraim would subsequently rescue the two as they were making their escape from the Twin Horn Syndicate. He and Mira aided them in deducing the fact that a bounty hunter was after the siblings and had actually been manipulating them before. Together, they concocted a plan to get the bounty hunter off their trail, which would allow the siblings to escape Lothal. Unfortunately though, the plan failed, and the siblings, together with their pets Mora and Droid, were captured and flown off. Not yet ready to accept defeat, Ephraim would then contact Ryder for assistance, but as a result of their activities, the Empire sent stormtroopers after Ephraim and Mira. Soldiers then took them away to be imprisoned on the charge of treason, and Governor Azadi was also arrested for his support of their broadcasts. Sibo, a Rodian on Lothal, who we do see in Season 1, was a close friend of Ephraim and Mira, and he promised to look after Ezra, but he was too afraid and failed to do so. So Ezra was left to live on his own for several years. So years later, while in prison, Ephraim and Mira learns that Ezra had become part of the rebel cell, the one that fought the Empire on Lothal. He transmitted a message of rebellion to the people of Lothal that reached other worlds in the Outer Rim, and even made its way to the prison where the Bridgers were being held. Ephraim and Mira, who always tried to help their fellow prisoners, could tell that the voice in the broadcast was their son because of his words. They were inspired by what he said and organised a prison break. Dozens of prisoners, including Azadi, were able to escape with their help, but the Bridgers were separated and refused to leave until everyone else escaped. But by the time the others were free, it was too late for Ephraim and Mira. They gave their lives so others could be free. And it's in this prison that some Star Wars fans think is the one that Andor's been sent to. That'd be an amazing crossover. Now, Star Wars Rebels, which as you guys know is my favourite of all the animated Star Wars shows, was full of profound emotion and heartbreak. Ezra's deep wanting for his family and sense of belonging played into that, and there is some similarity despite their many differences between the characters of Cassian and Ezra. And while they are distinct, Tony Gilory did say that part of the Andor series was inspired by what he calls animated canon. In other words, the Clone Wars, and in this case, Star Wars Rebels. That would not just be a neat tie-in, but it's also a nice precursor to the Ahsoka show next year, where Ahsoka and Sabine are going to find Ezra many years later, after he was launched into hyperspace by the Purrgil with Grand Admiral Thrawn. But Andor Season 1 takes place at the same time as the first season of Star Wars Rebels, so that overlap could very much happen, and I, as well as many fans, would be over the moon to see the Bridger couple in live action. That'd be insane. So could they, as well as their son's message, be the ones to instill the sense of rebellion in Cassian's heart? He has seen what the Empire's capable of, what they're doing, and he might have had enough. And the sense of fighting back, resistance, and what it means to be a rebel could be the contagious factor that passes from the Bridgers to Cassian. Imagine that. It's a very interesting fan theory indeed. If at the start of the series I would have made some sort of guess, I would never have predicted the Bridgers might appear in this show. I was expecting some kind of Star Wars Rebels connection, but not this one. But if it does happen, it's a Star Wars Rebels fan's dream. But share your thoughts on this theory in the comments down below. And so now, my dear Mandalorians, we've got an update for Temuera Morrison, because a new article from Deadline confirms that he's going to be super busy for the months ahead, but not on Star Wars. Now, we haven't had The Mandalorian Season 3 yet, but back at Star Wars Celebration, if you remember, Jon Favreau teased that he's already writing Season 4. And a lot of Star Wars fans noticed the time increments between productions on Mando and Mando-related shows, and they predicted that The Mandalorian Season 4 would probably start filming before January, now that the Ahsoka series is wrapping up and Skeleton Crew is just 2 months away from finishing. But that is not going to happen unless Boba Fett is not in Season 4, which is very much doubtful, unless of course something happens to him in Season 3. I think he's definitely going to be prominent in the 3rd season, but they're probably going to give production on Mando-related shows a break for the time being. But whatever the case, Tem has his hands full. Let's see what Deadline said. Temuera Morrison has joined the cast of Chief of War, Apple TV Plus's limited series, starring, written and executive produced by Jason Momoa, and it hails from 5th season and Shonen Entertainment. Created by Momoa, the 8-episode Chief of War follows the epic and unprecedented telling of the unification and colonization of Hawaii from an indigenous point of view. Morrison will play King Kahekili, the King of Maui. The role is going to unite Morrison and Momoa, who worked together on the Aquaman films. Morrison played Tom Curry, the father of Momoa's titular superhero. Morrison reprises the role in the upcoming Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, as well as The Flash, both set for release in 2023, which is going to be a huge year for him because he stars in The Mandalorian Season 3 as well, and maybe even in the Ahsoka series as Captain Rex. But that is just a rumour, guys, nothing yet is confirmed. They go on to say on the television side, Morrison portrayed Boba Fett in the 2nd season of The Mandalorian and currently portrays the character in the spin-off series The Book of Boba Fett. Now what's really interesting here is that they refer to The Book of Boba as if it's ongoing, not as if it's finished. Now there have been some rumblings that a 2nd season is going to happen, but it's probably not going to be for a while. But in either case, we look forward to seeing Tem return in Mando and hopefully in other shows as more clones. But for now, guys, it looks like it's going to be a while until he returns to set on a Lucasfilm production. And so finally, my dear Mandalorians, we have some Star Wars comics news. The Eye of the Webbish Bog, an alien creature that was cut from The Rise of Skywalker, is now granting Darth Vader visions in the upcoming comic series Star Wars Revelations. In Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker, we saw Kylo Ren head to Mustafar, where he discovered his grandfather Darth Vader's lost Wayfinder. And one specific concept was cut from the film, a Force creature that would have linked Kylo Ren directly to Darth Vader, the Eye of the Webbish Bog, entrusted with guarding Darth Vader's secrets. The Eye of the Webbish Bog was incorporated into Star Wars canon another way, courtesy of Ray Carson's novelization of the film, and the creature has since appeared in several tie-in comics, and now going forward, it's going to appear again and play a huge role in the upcoming Star Wars comic series Revelations. The Sith have always been obsessed with prophecy, and they believe their sheer force of will can control the future, shaping it according to their desires. In a new preview for the 1st issue of this comic series, we see Darth Vader being granted visions of the future by the Eye of the Webbish Bog. But in truth, as some people have pointed out, the Eye of the Webbish Bog is simply serving as a convenient plot device. The creature's dark side visions are an opportunity for Marvel Comics to hint at its future plans, and also to tell us more about Vader as a character. How much of his future was he told, how much is true, and how did it affect him personally in the build-up to the original trilogy. The 1st issue of Star Wars Revelations by Mark Guggenheim drops on November 23rd. I'll definitely cover this one, I'm excited to see what it holds, but share your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. If you enjoyed this news update, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and if you want more videos not found here on YouTube, then click the link down there in the description. But until the next one, my dear friends, may the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg, have a good one.